Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on what is going to be the first of 3 webinars and workshops around Deborah. My name is Tasha Sultanovic. I'm from Ingram Micro Cloud. I might give it another, maybe just 1 more minute or maybe 30 seconds here just to see if anyone else is going to be joining. We'd like to do a little sound check too. Maybe in the chat box, if someone can just let me know that you can hear me and you can see everything clearly, that would be great. Excellent. Thank you, Ivy. Awesome. Well, we're pretty excited this morning to be welcoming Deborah. Deborah is a unified call recording and voice AI solution that is now available from the Ingram Micro Cloud Marketplace. Like I said, my name is Tasha, and this morning we're going to hear from Deborah and the team on how you can unlock new sources of revenue by positioning the Deborah call recording solutions to your customers. So we're pretty excited. Deborah was created to enable businesses, government or organizations of any size, the ability to capture conversations and sentiment in real time to improve the customer satisfaction and gain critical compliance. You know, compliance is a growing necessity when dealing with the public and privacy at the moment. You can buy Deborah for Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, Zoom, or even for Telstra customers on our Ingram Micro Marketplace today. At the end of the Deborah presentation, I'll be showing you just how to do that. So we'll have a few slides just to give you the look and feel of where they're positioned and how you go through the parameters of ordering, which is really, really simple. Before we turn over to Andy and Theo, no, Theo's not joining us today. Sorry, Andy and Tim. Sorry, Tim. From Deborah, I would like to make sure you all know who Rocco Ferreira is, our Ingram Deborah champion. You can see his beautiful little face at the top there. He's here to help you with any questions on how to order Deborah or to set up a call with the Deborah team if you have questions that you would like to delve deeper in after the webinar. So thanks for Rocco for showing your face up there. His details and this presentation and links to more Deborah info will be available on the post-webinar follow-up email, which we always do a few days after we've had the webinar. Don't forget to put your questions in the chat box at any time during the presentation, and me and Ivy will read them out to the team to get your answers. We also include that in the follow-up email as well. So don't forget, I'll pop back later and tell you how we can order Deborah on Marketplace after you hear from our presenters. Andy and Tim, take it away, gentlemen. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Tasha. It's great to be with you all today, and we couldn't be more excited to be on the Ingram Cloud Marketplace. Got a fast agenda to motor through with you today. We know your time's valuable, so we're going to try and cover a lot of ground. I'm going to spend about 15-20 minutes just talking about the notion of voice data and conversational data, as we call it. Tim's going to get into how do you make lots of money from doing that, how you're rewarded, and what the opportunity is, and then Tasha will step you through how to access that opportunity with Ingram, and then we'll have plenty of time left for questions at the end. So do drop your questions into the chat, or you can shout them out when we get to that point. So let me get going and get into this. Voice recording has gone through a really rapid transformation over the past 5 to 10 years. Heavily driven by the cloud, heavily driven by the adoption of UC services, and more channel partners globally are moving very, very quickly to use it, not just as a source to drive revenue, but also as a source of differentiation, both in terms of architecting solutions, creating stickiness within the client by connecting those solutions to other platforms, and a lot more. So we're going to cover that. For those of you who don't know Deborah, we're an Australian-based global tech company, growing very, very rapidly. If you haven't, jump onto Deborah.net. You can see our latest quarterly announcement video up there. It'll give you a feel for our trajectory, which really reflects the rapid adoption that's going on globally today of unified call recording. As we've listened to our channel partners around the world, we hear a number of things. We hear the challenges faced loud and clear, and they're wide and varied. I think, though, what I'd summarize as the single biggest challenge I hear every day from our channel partners is we need to make the shift from simply selling the connection to understanding how we can monetize the content flowing on those connections. How do we turn every conversation into a source of value for ourselves and for our customers? And that's really at the heart of what we do. It's actually, and I always hesitate to say this, it's actually not about recording calls. It's actually about turning every conversation into a source of value. And the way we do that is really simple. Deborah is a network or application embedded service, which means no hardware. It's on with a click. You're up and running in minutes. You're now turning that content into data. It's automatically transcribed in the cloud, turned into data, which then is a rich source of contextual information and insights, right? And that enables you to increase ARR, literally doubling the size of revenue from a connection endpoint, but also doubling the value that comes from that endpoint through the connections you're then able to make. Now, the world changed clearly. We particularly feel for all of you that are sitting in isolation in New South Wales at the moment. For those of us in Victoria, we have a huge empathy for that, having been there for a long time. But the world didn't just change because of COVID. It changed the way customers engage dramatically. So there's enormous pressure on organizations today, not to understand what was said or how customers felt 6 months ago, but how they feel today, how they're reacting today. Regulators around the world are driving more and more compliance demand, both specific compliance regulations. We're about to go through Reg 271 here in Australia, which requires financial organizations to have evidence of their dispute resolution and customer dispute management processes, but also compliance in the forms of storage through GDPR, PCI compliance for capturing credit card data and the like online. It comes in many, many flavors. We're not going to get too far into that today, but we can easily connect you to lots and lots of collateral and marketing support. I think, though, what's interesting is one of the central challenges organizations are trying to deal with is what we call revenue leakage. And to actually plug the revenue leakage hole, you need to have captured evidence of crucial conversations. There's a great case study, we'll touch on it in this. It's a little one, but it's a really important one that demonstrates a broader trend around being able to have proof positive of a client commitment or a customer commitment that was captured verbally, and be able to use that later on when the customer maybe doesn't quite agree with what they signed up for. Work from home, though, changed the way these first three things, and work from anywhere changed the way these things happen. There is a massive shift to UC platforms going on, which is why unified call recording, which is something uniquely Deborah can do for you, is so important. Because suddenly these businesses are saying, look, I used to have all my calls that I wanted to capture, all these crucial conversations I wanted to capture coming in through my call center or my SIP trunk connection. Well, now they're happening on Microsoft Teams, they're happening on mobile, they're happening on Zoom, and normally they're happening on all of those things all day long. So Deborah is uniquely positioned to address these very, very clear pain points that have emerged in a changing world. And if you look today, more than 80% of crucial customer conversations are still voice. It's a popular misnomer that they're all digital. They're not, they're voice. And the majority of these are happening outside of call centers now. And that's not going to change. And that's why Gartner predicts today that 75% of all conversations will be recorded by 2025, which means every single one of those endpoints you're selling will largely have some form of recording attached to it. It will become a standard feature and function of every single proposal very, very shortly. So that's why it's so good you're here today, and because it's going to be such an important demand element from the customer perspective. So an incredible revenue opportunity, but also a critical opportunity if you're still planning to win those endpoints. So when we look at it today, though, the real challenges most businesses face is voice still remains the largest untapped source of data and insights in their businesses, right? That the value of that conversation is lost often the moment the conversation ends, or people pretend they've captured it because they've written it in a notebook, and inevitably our Salesforce records aren't up to date, or our customer records aren't current. Unified call recording is designed to solve this challenge and suddenly turn every conversation into a system of record and turn it into data that can be reused in the future. 7 years from now, you might need to go back and find something, but more importantly, it can be used in real time. And this case study I mentioned before, the well pets example, and I think I've got it in here in the deck to touch on, is interesting because we replaced a legacy call recording solution there where they said it was actually kind of useless for them because it took them hours to find a specific record of a conversation. Well, with Deborah in place, that is now captured in real time. They can search in real time, they can see the call in real time, they can literally, while they're talking to the customer, replay the commitment that was made and resolve the dispute. So this new world of unified call recording, we often talk about sort of Alexifying the world's networks, turning every network into an instantly replayable source of information using voice. It's enormously powerful. And as I mentioned, the applications here are nearly endless. Got another case study I think the team is going to pump out this week with a council in Tasmania. For them, it's about people intelligence. It's about training, coaching, helping their team do better in dealing with the constituents that council has to deal with. You could imagine if this was a sales call, the call would be automatically connected to the Salesforce record, both as a recording and a transcript. So if I, as the sales manager, wanted to see how the call went, I wouldn't be wondering. I could literally listen on to what was actually said and what was actually committed during a conversation. I could also potentially see a real-time sentiment analytics data that would tell me at the end of every day what the overall sentiment and tone of those calls was. So the applications here are nearly endless. And they span everything from the traditional call center to the remote sales team to customer care. We do a lot of work with universities around the world for student care. It could be 911 services. The applications are nearly endless. Nearly every customer has a reason or an opportunity to use voice data in ways they aren't using it today. So when you look at this well pets example, and I'm not going to read through all of this, these are designed to sort of arm you and equip you if you wanted to talk to a customer tomorrow. Yeah, they definitely resolve disputes. In fact, Deborah normally would pay for itself in a matter of days in terms of dispute resolution, but they really improve the customer experience. They save hours and hours of time every week in hunting for proof and evidence of a customer transaction. And it's incredibly affordable and on with a click. No hardware required. It's provisioned out of the cloud. Those calls are instantly available from their phone in different forms. And we'll touch on the forms that Deborah comes in just a minute. So I just wanted to paint an example. One of the things that, because I reason I wanted to paint this example is one of the things I get most excited about is we all tend to read these case studies from the big banks, many of whom we serve here in Australia. But what really excites me is how broad the application is. In fact, you can get to plenty of these medium and sized businesses out there who just need this today. In fact, I think the partner on this one was a company called OutcomeX, who did a fantastic job of presenting Deborah and integrating Deborah as part of a solution. They shifted from selling simply an endpoint or an application, which they're competing with everyone else to sell. They're able to differentiate themselves and create a highly valued service by solving a real pain point the customer had. Today, we're embedded in many of the world's leading platforms, more than anyone else out there, over 160 networks and solution partners in all of the most important UC platforms and all of the most important networks. So Telstra here in Australia with Liberate and Tippet, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. We've announced extensive relationships with Cisco WebEx. We'll soon announce WebEx Teams video that'll come in the next few weeks. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on, and we add more networks and more services every week. We're also really well rated across all these. So we've got 5 stars in the Amazon store, 5 stars in Apple, 5 stars in G2 Crowd. So we haven't bothered putting that on here, but you get the drift. The critical thing to understand about unified call recording is it's very, very different than the call recording that you might find embedded in some of these services. So it's an opportunity to differentiate. Things that make it different is the notion of embedded call recording is, first of all, it has to be private and confidential. It has to be secure. It has to provide unlimited storage. Many of the free embedded solutions simply do not do that. And so they're not really business class. They're fine for an individual if I wanted to just record an ad hoc conversation, and then I'd have to click through many screens and find my recording and choose what to do with it. But as a business, I can't afford to do that. Because I need guarantees that any conversation with a customer is going to be treated securely and confidentially. I need unlimited scale and storage. I need the ability to review those. I need the ability to apply intelligence to those. So unified call recording is an enormous step forward from legacy call recording or embedded call recording as we might encounter it in some of the free versions today. And that's why so many businesses come together. They get a bit of a taste of it maybe on the free versions that are out there, and then they come to Deborah realizing they need a business grade solution to meet compliance mandates and security mandates and privacy mandates globally. So there's a lot here to be excited about, and I'd encourage you to attend more of the training sessions if you want to get deeper into this. But more importantly, we know that customers will come up with all kinds of tricky questions. We have a fantastic team here that's ready to help and assist you in any opportunity you're working on. We'll step in and sell right alongside you and help you win the deal and stand out and differentiate. So unified call recording, as I mentioned, is different than traditional call recording. It has a lot of characteristics I've already touched on, so I won't dwell on this right now. But you can get a sense here for how this will work and how it'll be different for you. Now, call recording from Deborah comes in many forms. We have very simple edition packages, W, which is really designed for the small business or medium business owner that just needs to record 1 or 2 endpoints. We have Deborah Teams, which, as it suggests, is designed specifically for a team leader or manager that needs to be able to review the Teams recordings. And then we have Deborah Premier, which is really designed for a total business solution with advanced AI, analytics, transcriptions, and many, many more richer features. The majority of our customers today tend to migrate towards Deborah Teams or Deborah Premium as an option. Our compliance edition packages are specifically built for small compliance teams or medium-sized compliance teams. So this is just where 1 or 2 people need all the call recordings at their disposal. They're not really going to look at them every day, but when they're doing surveillance or they're doing an investigation or they need to enact a request for legal hold, they're able to do that very quickly and easily, efficiently. And then we have a range of different things that you can use to enrich a Deborah solution, such as the Deborah API, the Deborah Salesforce connector, the Deborah Voice Intelligence Cloud. We have Deborah Data Storage, which enables you to aggregate and back up large volumes of voice data into the cloud and store them securely for very, very long periods of time. So as you get into the Ingram Cloud marketplace, you'll find there are lots of fantastic Deborah solutions at your disposal that you can use to provide an answer to whatever the customer needs. And it's all on with a click. It's simple and easy to provision, backed by world-class customer success teams here at Deborah that will help you with provisioning and onboarding and getting everything up and running and making it happen. Now, what this means for you, a range of exciting things. The ability to architect your own solutions, working with a channel partner at the moment who's architecting some very advanced dashboards for their customer, which they're driving recurring revenue from not only selling the dashboarding solution, but also managing those dashboards and the data sets around them. Obviously, you're going to get a great uplift in your revenue immediately out of the gate, from selling Deborah itself, from the base subscription. And then there's plenty of integration opportunities to provide and build advanced services. So a great example is connecting it into Salesforce and then into high velocity selling. So that if a great example I've been working with a partner on is their ability to pass off customer conversations from inside sales rep to inside sales rep. So the next inside sales rep handling a customer request can actually quickly replay the last conversation and see what was said and committed to in the last conversation. So incredible new recurring revenue streams here for you. We can see our partners earning great multiples on what they would have earned from just selling the base unified communications subscription. So really, really simple. I hope in 15, 20 minutes here, I've painted a reasonably straightforward picture for you. There's a number of things you can do to get going today. It's very easy and simple to include Deborah in every deal. We're here to help you sell and quote. So if you need custom proposals built or you need custom quotations for larger deals, we can help and make sure that gets provisioned through the Ingram Cloud Marketplace. It's a really simple and easy add-on for existing customers. We'll help you with co-marketing, presenting, reaching back into your existing partners to drive them onto Deborah and introduce them to Deborah. We've got plenty of rewards that Tim is going to touch on for individual sellers that go above and beyond just the recurring ARR and commissions you'd earn from that. Tremendous support here at your disposal. We can build custom branded collateral. We can engage in market development funds for you. We can train your team. Whatever you need, we're here to make it happen. So I'd really encourage you. Ingram's great at supporting you, and we want to double down on that support and make sure you get everything you need to sell more, to differentiate, and drive even greater retention across your customers. So I hope I painted a picture of what we think is a really exciting opportunity for you. That opportunity spans the smallest to the largest businesses. It's a perfect fit for government, financial services, nearly any industry out there, in fact. So I hope we've exposed a little bit of that to you in 15 to 20 minutes. And now I believe I hand back to Tim, who is going to take you through some of the opportunities and rewards you can get from selling on Deborah. So back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Andy. Fantastic. I think Ivy's going to share some slides now. Tasha's going to share the slides to run through, but that's really, really great to give us an overview of what we what the opportunity is for our partners. What I'm going to talk about first of all is just around some qualification questions that you might ask.
So Tim, I'm just going to ask Ivy to take back control of presentation, please, Ivy.
Sorry, what's that?
I've just asked Ivy to take back presentation so that we can bring it up again, because you've disconnected. We've disconnected you, so we've lost the slides.
Yeah, Ivy was good. Here she is now.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Ivy. Awesome. If you want to take us to where we dropped off, that would be amazing. Couple more. Oh, there we are. Perfect.
There we go.
There we are. Ivy, do you want to remain control, or actually you're doing a good job. You just keep control. Thanks, Tim. Sorry, folks.
Not a problem. Thanks very much. So just covering off on Andy's painted a very broad picture there of the capabilities of Deborah and the different products we offer into the market. And one of the questions that we very commonly get asked is, that's great. Still kind of getting around the concept of call recording, and this is talking beyond call recording. Is it just FSI? What vertical should I be thinking about and pitching this to? What I'm just trying to talk to here is, when you're having conversations with customers, and also just to familiarize yourself with the solution, is to think beyond the vertical and more to think about what the pain points your customers are having, because it really is, the use cases for Deborah sit across pretty much every vertical out there, and it really is the key sits across key issues within the business. Now, there's five key areas that Deborah really talks to in terms of customers, but the first one being compliance. And it's quite straightforward and obvious one about the questions around do you need to keep records for customer conversations for compliance purposes? Do you need to record and monitor calls beyond the call center, because your customers might say we're recording in the call center, so therefore we're ticking that box. But quite often what you'll find is they'll actually be passing a call off to someone outside the contact center, who will then be having a conversation with the end customer, in which case straight away you've got a non-compliant conversation taking place. So the way that we always look at this is, okay, if your contact center isn't recorded, then we'll record that. If your contact center plus anyone else that talks to the customer needs recording, we can do that as well, because you want to make sure that there's that compliance across the organization, and then you can quickly get access to those recordings at a very cost-effective price as well. Andy touched on that customer experience, customer satisfaction area. A very key one. When you're looking at the old world of NPS, which is historical data that looks at 1 or 2% of people who actually answered the NPS survey to then make predictions about what's going to happen in the future. Whereas being able to really use sentiment, understand what's going on there, and so what's their tone, what's happening in the sentiment of these conversations, and being able to utilize that data to get much greater insights into what's happening with the conversations you're having. Would you like to be alerted to customers when they say they want to cancel account? Customer churn, really being able to get on top of this and almost in real time be able to get notifications of a customer that looks as though they are going to churn, so they can be remediated. And productivity and performance. So being able to utilize data to actually help shape how your business, where you put resources, where you look to put more effort into the business to improve things, whether that be coaching, whether that be into understanding just from a workflow, making sure that staff not if call volumes come in at the middle of the day, making sure you've got the staff there to cover the phones during the middle of the day rather than taking their lunch at that time. But asking questions like, would you like to eliminate time spent manually entering customer conversation details in CRM? I think everyone would love that. The ability through the automation with our Salesforce integration, being able to have that record, whether that be the transcript, whether that be the recording, whether it be the data, automatically loaded into Salesforce and save on the time and effort and the accuracy of what's actually been recorded. Next slide, please. Here we go. The final two. So dispute resolution. This is quite an obvious one. So being able to very quickly remediate issues. Often the he said, she said type discussions, and this could be everyone from a small florist to a large trading desk in a banking or financial services organisation. So wherever you're having those customer those conversations that B2C or B2B. That you want to actually ensure that you just can resolve disputes very, very quickly and easily, and being able to access that information almost instantaneously, and be able to email that out to just really close that out very, very quickly is a very key use case that we come across. And then finally, generally reducing costs. Be able to, this is be able to eliminating the traditional call recording world where it's a big server requiring maintenance, it's requiring staff to manage it and do upgrades and keeping that information there for you. Deborah stores everything in the cloud for infinitely, indefinitely, and being able to then be able to query and get hold of this data instantly, regardless of if it was captured today or if it was captured 7 years ago. Equally be able to get that information there. So that covers off the key question areas, and there's very few organisations. So again, rather than talking about verticals or typical customer, think about compliance, think about customer experience, think about productivity and performance, dispute resolution, reducing costs, 5 areas. And there's very few organizations in the world that are not looking to try to do one of those 5 things. Next slide, please. Just wanted to touch on this. This is an exciting program that we're running for Ingram Micro partners at the moment. So this gives it what we call double grow, and gives you the ability to earn up to $5,000 per partner. And how it works is this: for every opportunity that's registered on the Double website by 30th of September, we'll pay $5 per endpoint for those opportunities that are registered. In addition to separate to that, so we'll pay if one of those opportunities closed by September 30, we'll pay $10 per endpoint for those particular opportunities. So $5 just for registering an opportunity that may or may not close by September 30, or if an opportunity is registered and closes by September 30, then we'll pay $10. And then for the larger opportunities, those beyond 150 endpoints, we'll pay those to $5 and $10 at a 2 times booster for those as well. So to take advantage of this, identify a Double prospect, register via the Double website. You've got the details down the bottom there, which is double.net/Double grow, and then schedule a demo with Double by 30th of September. So that's the key piece there, is making sure that obviously the verification is done by having a demo scheduled with the end customer by the Double team. Any questions on any of that, please feel free to reach out. But there's a lot more information there on the Double website. Tasha, that's it for my slides. I think it's going to be a Q&A.
Perfect, Tim. That's awesome. Before I just do a quick demo on how to order Double on the marketplace, a question did come up that I think I'll ask now, which is what is the licensing model for Double? And I know from the marketplace that it's yearly subscription, paid monthly, but do you want to explain a little bit about the difference of how many U's you'd have to buy, for instance, versus the group teams, Skew, and the Premier?
Yeah, sure. So just to explain that a little bit more. So W basically gives you the ability to record calls, but only listen to your individual calls. So if you're managing a team, then that's not going to be the license for you. If you just want to have your calls and be able to record those, access those yourselves, then you have that. W gives the ability to do that. Double Teams is meant more for where you are, might be a team leader or you're managing a group of people where you want to be able to access the recordings of all of those people as well. So single person can have access to many recordings. And then the Double Premier is where we're taking that recording capability. We're also then bundling in the AI capabilities, so pulling in sentiment, the transcription, the sentiment, the tone, all of those sort of things, plus the API, so that then you can develop those really, really rich insights into the end customers. So that's primarily the key differences between a W, a Double Teams, and the Double Premier. So all the pricing would be, as you say, Tasha, on the Ingram Marketplace.
And I just realized I can show my webcam here. So with the U, it would be per user, and then with the Teams one that is by the manager, he just needs that one that gives him access to everyone. So it is per user. The
yeah. So everyone you're wanting recorded would need a Double license. Absolutely.
Yeah. Brilliant. I might touch on that again when I get to that slide, Tim. So don't go too far away. All right. So here is a familiar landing page, I hope, to those on the call. This is where you log into the Ingram Cloud Marketplace. Deborah sits under Communications and Collaboration, which makes sense. So you log into the marketplace from this page. What I like about this page, though, is this is where your resources are. So there's some links. There's a video as well about explaining more about Deborah. So that's really helpful. But log into the marketplace from here if you actually want to purchase your Deborah subscriptions and select your plan. As you can see on the original front page, there's 3 tiles. These aren't necessarily random, it's alphabetical, but if you click in, you can see further the entire selection of SKUs. So there we see the Premier, the U, the Teams, the Compliance Edition, etc. So selecting your chosen subscription, you can see your margin there, healthy 20% to the reseller, which is fantastic, recurring yearly and paid monthly, which is pretty standard for us. And then we go into the quantities. And so this is where we're just talking about it's per subscription per user. So that's perfect. Again, go to next. I think most of you are pretty familiar with how this e-commerce site works. There's nothing too complex about ordering Deborah, which is how we like it. Selecting your existing customer or adding your new customer. Perfect. And then this is the parameters page. So there's always a few little extra bits that Deborah needs from you so they can provision your solution. So selecting country, so Australia, obviously, though they do have UK and US there in case you are an organization that is international. So do you want to touch on that at all, Tim? Is there anything more to know about why you do offer it in different countries and why we're only selecting Canada? Why we're only selecting Australia? I've been watching too much Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. I think that that's just for the start. I mean, there's obviously from the we've got, it matches up to, I guess, the key geographies for Deborah in the initial stage. But we'll look to round that out as we progress with the relationship with Ingram to include, for example, the broader APAC region as well.
Absolutely. And you are live in the UK, which is really exciting. That went live at the same time as Australia. Then the next is choosing your platform. So at the moment, these are the platforms that are offered through the marketplace. So there's Microsoft, Cisco, Telstra customers also can select your SKUs here, and Zoom. I don't know if there's anything additional to add there as well, Tim. It's pretty straightforward, I think. Yeah. I guess talking to a customer yesterday, what I realized is that they had a user who had both Zoom and Microsoft, and that is two separate orders. Because this has to be selected as part of the parameter, they do have to go back in and order their Zoom one next, for instance. So that's all good. And I've pressed next slide, but there we go. There we go. And then just confirming your order, making sure that what you've selected is what you meant to do, and that you've accepted the terms and conditions. The EULA for Deborah is also in that link at the bottom. Provisioning is not completely automated. I'm going to call it semi-automated. You have some worker bees in the back. I think it's Peter and Simon who are currently going into the portal, making sure that they have all the information that they need. If they don't, Deborah will reach out to the reseller if necessary. And that pretty much is how you order Deborah and what the slides look like. Upcoming webinars. So this is a series of 3. So thank you, Sarah, for adding this slide. Next one is August 12th, followed by the 19th. Different presenters. So Tim, you're probably going to stick with us for the series?
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. And then I'll just see if there's any other questions in the chat box. Tim.
I did see one there from John Anderson. So John, yeah, absolutely. So there's Deborah has the ability to pause.
Can we read the question? Wait, hold on. Several of our customers capture credit card information over the phone that needs to be removed from recordings. Can Deborah do this? Take it away, Tim.
Yeah, no, so absolutely. So on Deborah, you have the ability to pause and resume the recording. So obviously, when you're about to take credit card details, you have to pause the recording and then resume the recording post that the credit card details being verbalized.
Perfect. That was a really, really good question. How does the AI part of the Deborah recording work? Can you talk a little bit about that? for us?
Yeah, sure. So take a step sideways. So just making sure that everyone's aware that, from a compliance perspective, everything happens in Australia. So nothing leaves the region of which the call is captured. So in Australia, that's data sovereignty. So making sure that recording, transcription, AI all happens within the sovereign region of Australia. Specifically around the AI piece, so we partner with a number of providers, but one of which is IBM. So we take advantage of IBM's Watson capabilities. So once we capture that recording, we then run that through the Watson engine. It then, which is their AI-powered engine, so it then will provide a AI-powered transcription. Also, then pull out the sentiment of that conversation as well. So that touches across 7 emotions, which is really, really powerful. So you can understand tentative type language as opposed to angry, as opposed to happy type language as well. So once you are capturing that, we can trigger notifications, for example, on an angry customer, or you can look at the conversation flows to see during a conversation when someone might move from angry to tentative to happy. So being able to capture all of that. And then, we work with partners, then build out end solutions based on the sentiment, or being able to search through transcriptions for keywords, phrases, being able to then mine that data to pull out key insights.
But in its most simplest form, you can just literally report on sentiment based on just simple, like it went from angry to passive to happy. And then from there, you can take that data and then build a solution for the customer. Yeah, perfect. Oh, excellent. And I got one more here. How quickly can Deborah be deployed?
Very quickly. So I think the longest time we see there is, you said the 48 hours for provisioning. So when someone will click on here, depending on the platform. So for example, Microsoft Teams, there really is just some PowerShell scripts that are run across the users to apply the recording policy to those users. It spits out a file which we get, and then that's 48 hours to provision. So really is, regardless of the platform, we're 100% cloud-based. So whether that be Cisco, Zoom, Telstra, or Microsoft Teams, it really is pretty straightforward. So it really is deployed in a click. The provisioning piece is that 48 hours is just to set up all the mechanics behind the scene to more from a billing perspective for the customer.
Yeah, perfect. We got another one. Will Deborah API be available as an Orable Skew as well? Ooh, that's kind of more of a question for, I guess, me and the product manager at Deborah. But what's your thoughts, Tim?
So we have traditionally offered that as the APIs, so that if, for example, if someone is just wanting the more basic recording capabilities, but they might want to ingest that recording into or the metadata into a third-party application, and they might want to have the APIs to do that, or they might want a real-time feed into their own reporting engine, be that a Tableau or a Dynamics or into an Azure instance. So short answer is yes, we do have that capability to offer an API.
Absolutely. And then it will come down to really a priority within, I guess, the product management team at Deborah and our engineers, how easy it is to get that up on Marketplace. But absolutely, don't let that stop you from obviously talking to Deborah about getting it up and running, for sure. I think that is our questions for today. Those are really awesome questions. Just to reiterate that the next Deborah webinar is going to be more technical, and that's going to be presented by Sri, I believe. And then it will be boost your revenue and grow through Deborah compliance. So more about the compliance add-ons, etc. And don't know who's presenting for the compliance solutions one. Do we know yet, Tim?
Not sure as yet.
Sure.
That's Andy.
Andy's brilliant. So Andy will come back. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, Deborah team, and the Red Deborah team. And don't forget Rocco, who's the Ingram Deborah champion. His details will be on the follow-up email to this webinar. We had a great turnout today. It was amazing. Sorry for the couple of little small technical difficulties, but that always makes it a little bit more fun, I think, especially when we're all just locked down in Sydney. We got nothing else to do. Thank you so much. Thank you to Ivy for jumping in there when we needed you to. And we'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.